Good morning to all. Myself Bhagyeshri Rajan Wagdoe. I am assistant professor in Dhananjay Rao Gadge College of Commerce and Autonomous College. I welcome you all in BVOC department. In this lecture, we are going to study the syllabus of semester 3rd. As you know, as per the first year, in this year also you have to study the 6 subject. Some of them are a skill development component, and my paper is all about the cooperative banking and governance. It is also related to skill development component. You know, the SDC papers are of 40 marks for theory and 60 for their practicals. In this year, we are going to study what is the cooperative banking is all about, what is their governance. Regarding that overview, in this lecture, we are going to study what is the actual syllabus of cooperative banking and governance. First of all, I would like to explain what is the meaning of cooperative. Cooperative, the name is start with cooperation. Cooperation means help each other. To help the people of the society, to help the rural area, this banks was established. There is no commercial review or commercial view of that bank when they are providing finance in the economy. Most of the time we see that the cooperative banks are working in a rural area. As per our statistics, near about 58.7% people are still living in a rural area, and those are engaged into the agriculture and allied activity. So for their development, for their helping, cooperative bank was established, and for that there was an act in the 1960, and we are the Maharashtrians, and cooperative has the best grip in the Maharashtra state, because when we study about the sugar industries, when we sugar about the cottage industries, cotton industries is there, dairy is there, poultry is there, most of the time they are working on the cooperative basis. So this paper is included in your syllabus. Let me discuss about the syllabus. It is the cooperative banking and governance. As you know, it is the SDC, means skill development component. So the theory will be asked for the 40 marks, and practical is given to practical having the marking system of 60. In the practical, we will study about what is the cooperative principle. We will arrange the study visit to the cooperative units, how they actually function, what are their criterias for sugar industries, for cooperative structure bank, for PAX, for DCCB, for SCB. The first chapter is all about the introduction to the cooperative banking. As you know, the cooperative bank are established for helping each other, for the development of a rural economy. So they never think about the profit maximization. Instead of that, they are always preferred to help the rural economy. The first chapter is about origin and evaluation of cooperative banking. What is the principle of cooperative banking? To establishment of any cooperative society, minimum 10 members are required. And for their establishment, what are the rules, what are the principles is to be followed, it given in this chapter. The 10 members having no any restrictions, like they are belongs to that category or they are belongs to that gender, they are coming from that society. Not at all. Just a minimum contribution is decided, and who are ready to pay that minimum contribution, he can be the member of that particular cooperative society. These are some principles, like one man, one vote. Voluntary membership is there. Operations are done on the basis of mutual understanding, helping each other. It will discuss in the next chapter as well. But here just we have to understand what is the meaning of cooperation, how they can establish, what are the rules behind it, what are the norms suggested by the Cooperative Act 1960, Maharashtra Cooperative Society Act 1960. In this act, we will study what are the responsibility of PACs, how they work in a rural area. They just cover the taluka level. When you comes to the district level, there is DCC, that is a District Central Cooperative Bank. How they can operate? What are the main function? Apart from that, at the state level, there is state cooperative banks. What are their role? What are the responsibilities given to them? It came under this act. It is the brief act. It is also included into the GDCA syllabus. So I always say, when you are Maharashtrian, you should know what is the Maharashtra Cooperative Society Act 1960. So it is included in this syllabus. Next, what is the role of cooperation in economic development? It is established for the helping each other. It is established for the development of rural area. There are many roles which are undertaken by the cooperative institutes, like employment generation, women empowered, providing training and all. These are the various roles we will discuss in this chapter. Next chapter is about what is the structure of cooperative. As earlier we studied, in the taluka level there is society, that is Primary Agriculture Cooperative Society. PACS is there. It is the abbreviation PACS, means Primary Agriculture Cooperative Society, who work at the taluka level only, who cover the farmer of taluka only. But when you go towards the DCC, it cover the district. Okay, District Central Cooperative Bank. It cover all the area under district. Next, to control that DCC, SCB was established, that is State Cooperative Bank. The next is multi-state cooperative. Multi-state cooperative in the sense, those having the license to do the working or the transaction more than 2 states are called as a multi-state. Some rules of the multi-states are different from the cooperative sectors, which will include in this syllabus. Next is the urban cooperative bank. The main limitation of the cooperative sector is that they are working in a rural area. But in the urban area, there are some organized sector and some unorganized sector. For organized sector, there is commercial bank who are always ready to finance for the organized sector. Organized sector means which are having the fixed income, which having a legal background. But there is unorganized sector, like some street vendors are there, some auto rickshaw drivers are there, some taxi drivers are there. For them, the bank is necessary, who entertain the low income group people. Hence the urban cooperative was established. The next is problem of dual control. When we study about the cooperative is the bank. So some controlling is done by the RBI, because RBI is the apex institute for the banking sector, right? But RBI separate their subsidiaries whose name is NABARD, that is National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, on 12 July 1982. And RBI transferred the whole functioning of the cooperative to the NABARD. So the NABARD is the apex institute for the cooperative structure. But when the cooperative banks are working in the particular state, the state controlling is also there. So many problems are arise in front of cooperative banks. Whether they can follow the rules and regulation given by NABARD, or they can follow the rules and regulation given by the state government. Many problems are arise. We will study in this content, that is problem of dual control. Dual control means both control by NABARD as well as state government. That is your second chapter. In the third chapter, we will study the institutional support to the cooperative banks. Cooperative, the main agenda for the establishment of the cooperative bank is that to provide finance for the rural economy, for the development of rural economy. So they are facing the lack of fund problem. Because in a rural area, the saving habit is very much less amongst the society. And that is why the sources of saving, sources of deposit, sources of funding is arise. And hence, some institute support the cooperative bank. First, the Reserve Bank of India and cooperative banks. Reserve Bank of India separate the entities, subsidiaries through the NABARD. At that time also, the Reserve Bank of India provide them a finance for the separate establishment. And for the rural development also, Reserve Bank of India given finance to the cooperative banks. But it is not directly given to the cooperative sector. It given through the way of NABARD only. The next is state government also help to the cooperative banks. Because when the cooperative banks is working in a rural economy, some problems of NPS, some problems of bad debts are arises, and to recover that, or for we can say to overcome from the problem of lack of funding, state government is also engaged to finance them. The next is NABARD. NABARD is the Apex Institute. So the main liability of the NABARD is to provide funding to the cooperative sector under various provisions. It is provided finance to the cooperative banking sector through the various provisions like road development. For let we consider the example of water supply, electricity supply. Did you heard the word Bharat Nirman? Such types of provision was suggested by the government, and for that provision NABARD give them a finance. Under Bharat Nirman, we provide the local bodies like your Gram Panchayat, your Panchayat Samiti, your ZP is providing water supply connection, electricity connection to that particular area. For that purpose also NABARD help you. Apart from that, some lakes, some canals building purpose also the NABARD given the finance. For the construction of road in a rural area also NABARD provide the finance. When you when you go to the any village, you can saw the board in the front of a road that it is provided, the finance is provided by the NABARD. NABARD marphat with the Sahi and so on, that sentence is given on it. Means for the rural development, the need of, first of all, it understand what is the need of rural area, and as per the need they are providing the finance under various titles to that particular cooperative bank. Next is the NCDC. It also provides the finance for the cooperative banks. The fourth chapter is about governance in cooperative. Governance in the sense administration. How that cooperative bank is to be operate in the particular area. That governance in the, it called as the governance administration. The first content is administrative structure of the cooperative bank. Means for the proper functioning, for the transparent functioning, governance should be there. If they have a proper governance, they can do their functions properly. And for that, there is structure is given by the NABARD. How they can operate, what are their administrative structure, which we'll study in this chapter. And for that, we have to study the various acts like Maharashtra State Cooperative Credit Society, Commissioner for Operation and Registrar. For the registration of any, for your kind information, if you want to establish the society in a rural area, as we already studied in the first chapter, you require the 10 members, but you have to register that cooperative society in the front of registrar. What are the functions of registrar? What are the commissioners for commissioner for cooperations is to be studied in this chapter. The next is e-governance. Nowadays, you know, e-banking system, as per when we adopt the e-banking system, in e-governance system is also adopted in the case of administration of the cooperative structure. What is the e-governance? Corporate governance. It will study in the fourth chapter. And the fifth chapter, as you know, it is the part of SDC. So in this paper, you have to study the 5 chapters. The fifth chapter is the business analysis. Business analysis means when the RBI engaged to provide you the financial assistance, when the NCDC provide you the finance, when the state government provide you the finance, then the transparent transaction, transparent operation is to be expected. And for that purpose only, audit procedure is given to the cooperative banks. What is the audit procedure? What are the tools and their importance? It's studied in this content. The next is analysis of deposits and loan products. Because when you are engaged into the rural area, you are mostly providing finance to the agriculture and allied activity. Then what types of loan you are providing? What are their repayments? What are their loan products? Is to be analyzed, or we can say the assessed by the authority, and its importance as well. The next is analysis of interest rate structure, as well as the NIM. NIM in the sense net income margin. What are their rate of interest? Whether they are follow the rules and regulations given by the Reserve Bank of India, as well as means NABARD, and what are their net income margin is to be assessed. And the last is the analysis of the challenge of cooperative bank. Nowadays you are listen about the various cooperative bank who are merging into the other urban cooperative or other multi-state cooperative. What are the reason behind it? What are their income expenditure statement? What is their profit level? Whether they are following the governance structure and all, it is to be analyzed. Otherwise, if they are running in the loss, the best way to merge them into the stronger stronger bank. Such a types of decision how we can take, we will study in this lecture, in this content. This is all about the what is cooperative banking and governance. In the next lecture, we will focus on unit first, that is introduction to the cooperative banking, and it will ask for the 40 marks theory paper only. That syllabus, the main part of the syllabus will be asked for the 40 marks theory exam only, but most of the practical you have to take on it. What is the audit, how the analysis of the loan product is to be done, what is the operating area, how they can operate in a taluka level, operations of the banks, operations of the DCC, what is the loan distribution channel, because cooperative banking sector is totally engaged for the agriculture development, so they always entertain only farmers. I'm talking about PAX, DCC and SCB. They only entertain the farmers only. It is not applicable for the multi-state cooperative or the urban cooperative. They can entertain all the people of the society. But when it is comes to the agriculture finance, number of problems are arise, because you know the agriculture is the gamble of monsoon. And when you provide the loan for this sector, there is risk about the repayment or arises. So the governance is to be undertaken. What is the governance structure? We will study in this syllabus. Thank you.